Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
And collectively we are going to dangle by our balls from a unicorn's horn, aren't we?
That's the plan.
If it carries on.
Yeah, you've got to, that's on Patreon if you want to see that. Give you a clue, it doesn't go well. Anyway, yeah, we are the Office Blokes. We've got a TikTok. Head over to TikTok, type in the Office Blokes, just give us a follow. You know, it don't cost you anything, does it?
It's free.
Yeah, it's worth a go. Check out our other channels as well, Office Blokes Try, Office Blokes Podcast. Some good stuff on all of them.
There is.
Right, comedians slam cancel culture. So we've got a bit of Bill Burr, Seinfeld, Ricky Gervais, John Cleese and Stephen Fry.
Not a fan of John Cleese.
John Cleese.
Not a fan of Stephen Fry.
I like Stephen Fry.
I think he's all right.
Yeah.
In the right context.
I think John Cleese, though, did get in a bit of trouble. Was it over Brexit?
Can't remember, it annoys me.
Didn't he say so? He was like very outspokenly pro-Brexit, but then moved abroad as soon as...
Quite possibly something like that. Yeah.
It was
He's not my
definitely
type of comedian.
It's not for me, but Fawlty Towers was...
I mean,
Towers
again,
was funny.
Fawlty Towers was fantastic.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah, it was
seen it,
iconic,
you know,
wasn't it?
the Python's brilliant, but everything after that, yeah, it's not quite the same.
Anyway, we'll get into it. Comedians slam cancel culture. Let's do it.
People had tweeted at me when I said I'm interviewing with Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, ask him about the gender diversity on the show.
Yeah, I mean, people think it's the census or something. I mean, this has got to represent the actual pie chart of America. Who cares? It's just funny, you know. Funny is the world that I live in. You're funny, I'm interested. You're not funny, I'm not interested.
Okay.
And I have no interest in gender or race or anything like that. But everyone else is kind of with their little calculating, is this the exact right mix? You know, I think that's, to me, it's anti-comedy. It's anti-comedy. It's more about, you know, PC nonsense than are you making us laugh or not?
Right.
The people that complain.
I think we'll go along with that, won't we?
I agree 100%.
I think you could have written that bit
Yeah.
of a
It does sound a bit like what I said.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It was like perfectly articulated, though, wasn't it? It was just straight to the point. It's about being funny. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Jerry Seinfeld's one of them comedians that's just, he's hit the big time. He's done it at the highest level there is for comedy. Selling out stadiums. I don't know. He's doing a sitcom that was probably the biggest sitcom around in the day.
Yeah,
if not since then. I don't know if anything's been bigger.
I'd love to see more stuff of his. I've hardly seen anything of Seinfeld.
He's a funny guy.
Really?
Yeah.
And all that type of shit. It's a very small group of people, and they're bullies. But a comic tells a fucking joke in a strip mall, and all of a sudden they're talking about it. You know, one person gets offended. That's another thing too. Like every one of those things. It's like a comic is guilty of telling a joke in a comedy club. That's all they're guilty of. Right. And then what I love too is people get offended by the joke, and it's just like he or she didn't tell you the joke. Right. If you want to get mad that you heard the joke, it's the person that blogs about it. It's the person that takes the video or records it. The comedian is just guilty of being in a nightclub where people voluntarily came in and telling jokes. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, just because you're sitting at home eating cornflakes now and you hear the nightclub, that's really on you. Right. You don't want to hear the nightclub, don't go to the nightclub, and also don't fucking listen to it. To be honest with you, who really gets offended by comedians? Who is walking around, like, when was the last time you told somebody you're a comedian and be like, oh, you guys are so offensive? They always think it's cool, generally speaking. And there's this small group of fucking people. And what I love, too, is they only get offended by shit that has to do with them.
If people can't...
Bill Burr. Fucking love him.
Bill Burr's rants is just absolutely amazing, aren't they?
It's his accent that gets me.
Yeah.
His accent
it's
just
great,
throws it out there.
Yeah.
It's something I've not thought of before, though, what he touched on there, and it's probably non-comedy fans that are getting offended by the comedy.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah,
if you're into comedy, you know that you just got.
You get it, don't you?
It's not whatever they're protesting about. Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's bullshit. We just had that COP fucking climate thing over here.
Oh, yeah.
Where you've got fucking people turning up in jets and fucking 26 cars for the US president and cars parked on every bridge while he drives past and then the fucking helicopter. And I'm like, for real?
Yeah, so many contradictions.
Fucking one guy, stick him in the back of a taxi.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I know it's a bit of a side note, but I was listening to people's pledges and claims and all that sort of stuff, and it's like, by 2030 we're going to stop deforestation and blah, blah, blah. And then the president of Colombia turns around and goes, next year we're going to stop deforestation. So by next year, gone, stopped completely. Because I was already thinking that. I'm like, where's this arbitrary, like, 9-year target that everyone's saying that in 2030 we're going to do this? He just came out and was like, why wait? If it's that urgent, let's stop it now. In our country, we pledge now, we're stopping it. And I was like,
full of shit.
Crazy.
It's a bit of a side rant, that. But
It's not really, because it's the same as what I'm saying. The point I'm making is it's always the people who are against whatever's happening are the ones that protest.
Yeah.
You know, if they probably won't even affect. I'm not so climate affects everybody.
Yeah.
It's probably not the right thing to talk about. The hypocrisy of that was having all these fucking cars showing up and people driving around, flying in from all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Didn't some people try and super glue themselves to the M56 in Hale yesterday?
Yeah.
Fucking moppets.
They should have tried a couple
fucking
of
walking distance.
They should have tried a couple of junctions down at the Withenshaw turn off.
I know, right? Imagine that.
Control their own emotions, then they have to start trying to control other people's behavior. And when you're around super sensitive people, you cannot relax and be spontaneous because you have no idea what's going to upset them next. And that's why I've been warned recently, don't go to most university campuses, because the political correctness has been taken from being a good idea, which is let's not be mean, particularly to people who are not able to look after themselves very well. That's a good idea, to the point where any kind of criticism of any individual or group can be labeled cruel. And the whole point about humor, the whole point about comedy, and believe you me, I've thought about this, is that all comedy is critical. Even if you make a very inclusive joke, like, how'd you make God laugh, answer, tell him your plans. Now, that's about the human condition. It's not excluding anyone. It's saying we all have all these plans which probably won't come, and isn't it funny how we still believe they're going to happen? So that's a very inclusive joke. It's still critical. All humor is critical. And if you start saying, oh, we mustn't criticize or offend them, then humor's gone. With humor goes a sense of proportion. And then as far as I'm concerned, you're living in 1984.
For me, not the best articulation of it.
No, not really.
I know he knows what he's talking about, and he was making a valid point. But
I think maybe the bit about the university campuses where
they're offended by everything. Them fuckers.
Yeah, I mean, well, you always. Yeah, I mean that's where a lot of it starts, isn't it? You know, you get your little groups that start up there, don't they? Little protest groups about anything.
Statues, just so they don't have to fucking do any classwork.
It's true. It's where everyone.
They like a protest, don't they?
It's partly because a lot of students aren't earning anything. They're relying on loans and handouts, so they all believe in communism. And then when they actually start earning some good money, they start going, wait a minute, you can't just take most of my money that I've earned, and suddenly communism goes out the window. So yeah, it's the ones that don't have a lot that believe in those ideals, I think.
I can upset them very easy. We're not really trying, right? Oh, really?
Don't mention the war. I can't see.
I say that to Germans now.
Yeah, well,
if I say German now, the first thing I say is I'm not going to mention the war.
Yeah.
They laugh, I laugh, we all laugh.
No, they don't laugh. They've got no sense of humour.
Nah, they do. Fucking, Germans got the best sense of humour.
I'm just digging the hole deeper.
You don't start goose stepping as well like him, don't you?
They've got the best sense of humour on the planet, the Germans. Proper funny.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, we've heard a lot about extremism recently. A nastier, harsher atmosphere everywhere, more abuse and bother boy behaviour, less friendliness and tolerance and respect for opponents. All right, but what we never hear about extremism is its advantages. Well, the biggest advantage of extremism is that it makes you feel good, because it provides you with enemies. Let me explain. The great thing about having enemies is that you can pretend that all the badness in the whole world is in your enemies, and all the goodness in the whole world is in you. Attractive, isn't it? So, if you have a lot of anger and resentment in you anyway, and you therefore enjoy abusing people, then you can pretend that you're only doing it because these enemies of yours are such very bad persons. And that if it wasn't for them, you'd actually be good-natured and courteous and rational all the time. So, if you want to feel good, become an extremist. Okay, now you have a choice. If you join the hard left, they'll give you their list of authorized enemies. Almost all kinds of authority, especially the police, the city, Americans, judges, multinational corporations, public schools, furriers, newspaper owners, fox hunters, generals, class traitors, and, of course, moderates. Or, if you'd rather be an extremist on the hard right, no problem, fine, you still get a lovely list of enemies, only they're different ones. Noisy minority groups, unions, Russia, weirdos, demonstrators, welfare sponges, meddlesome clergy, peaceniks, the BBC, strikers, social workers, communists, and, of course, moderates. And upstart actors. Now, once you're armed with one of these super lists of enemies, you can be as nasty as you like and yet feel your behaviours morally justified. So you can strut around abusing people and telling them you could eat them for breakfast and still think of yourself as a champion of the truth, a fighter for the greater good, and not the rather sad paranoid schizoid that you really are.
That's quite good, that bit, actually.
It was, yeah.
Very clever.
Was,
Right?
yeah.
You've got opposing views, but they all think they're right on both sides.
It's the sponges.
Yeah.
I love how moderates were on both lists,
sides, even
though they make up the vast majority of the population.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that was touching on the victim complex, wasn't it, as well, a little bit. That if you're on that side, you're offended by everyone. I'm a victim. I'm justified in my actions, sort of thing.
And everything's their fault, you know.
Yeah.
Gervais comes out with some classics, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In this TV show, Afterlife.
Yeah, I've rewatched it recently.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
There's a third one coming out, isn't there?
Yeah, that's why I've stopped drinking alone, because I drank alone and watched it, and I was fucking miserable.
Not the best ones when you
I
go
know
past
what
school.
you're gonna say. It's one of the best lines.
It's the
I've ever
funniest
heard.
line ever.
I think it's just absolutely.
If you've not seen
superb.
it, go on it and just Google Ginger Kid. I guess Afterlife. You'll find some. You Google Ginger Kid Afterlife, you'll find it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's funny. It's the funniest
It's
fucking
actually really
clip.
good. It's really good.
Just go back a little bit, Dave, so we can get the start of that. Yeah.
To be fair, as a ginger person, I was very offended by it, and I've actually written to Netflix to cancel Afterlife because it's disgraceful.
Oh, I won't be surprised if they've pulled it.
No, they haven't.
That's what.
No, they haven't.
No way pulling that. There's no way they're pulling that. That's
wouldn't
the
surprise
best.
you.
That's the best little scene in any kind of show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and you
it's
know what?
Superb.
Netflix. I know I said that, I feel like they've got a bit of a box ticking thing, which I think they probably do, but they're sticking by Dave Chappelle at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, bosses. Yeah.
So I think they are pretty rational.
Yeah.
The people at the top,
All the staff that are trying to make a name for themselves by going, "Ooh, look at me." It's them. That's
that
the
what they
people.
say?
That's the people who bother me.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at me, people.
And what group do they represent?
Left or the right or the moderates.
Not the rather sad paranoid schizoid that you really are.
It's a weird headshot of Ricky Gervais, that, isn't it? It's creepy.
You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't come better than that, does it?
Oh, I love Ricky Gervais in his monologues. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
Everything
brilliant.
about everything he's done. He's another genius.
Yeah, I
Gervais.
agree.
He is. He is, isn't
Class.
Apart from his music.
I've never heard his music.
He was a
he was in
pop
a
star
group.
in the
He was in a
80s.
group.
Yeah, he was.
What group?
He was in a new romantic group. He was the singer, shoulder
famous
pads
one?
and makeup and stuff.
They were on Top of the Pops, weren't they?
Yeah.
A famous one that we would have heard of, or
You would have heard of him, yeah, but I can't for life. We'll have to Google it in a bit, but I can't remember who it was now. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So that wasn't. Well, to be fair, it's funny to watch. But
Yeah, it is. Knowing what you know now, it is, isn't it?
I'm just
But,
telling everyone, Google Ginger Kid Afterlife.
Yeah.
Watch that little clip. It's
Yeah,
funny.
brilliant.
Let me know what you think.
I'm going to cancel my Netflix subscription if they don't pull that joke at ginger people's expense.
Pedo. We can act it out, can't we? I look a bit like Ricky Gervais.
You do.
From a distance.
You do, yeah, if you squint. And I look like a chubby ginger kid in the
So
school,
go on,
apparently.
I'm walking past, and you say to me,
He calls him a nonce, doesn't he?
Pedo.
Pedo, that's the one.
"You say you pedo," and he goes, "Fuck off, you little ginger."
Something along them lines.
He says more than just that. He says, if I was, I wouldn't be interested in you little fat ginger c***. There's going to be a couple of bleeps.
I just picture it in my head now. It's funny.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
All just jokes. Yeah,
It's got
just jokes.
to be seen, that, yeah.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that too. Don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.